And welcome back to Nancy's Neighborhood, folks. And I'm going to show you another video, which I think is really awesome. It's concerning junior achievement volunteers. So I want you to watch it right now. And Jennifer's here still in the studio with me, and we're going to talk about that and the impact that JA has on the 5 counties that we serve. And she's going to talk about that in a minute. So here we go with our video on volunteers.
When I was growing up in Chicago projects, I thought I only had 2 destinies. It was either go to jail or die. Outside of school, life was very challenging as a young guy. My older brothers, they were there, but some of them were in gangs. I found out later on that I was actually transporting drugs for my family, or I was a distraction to the police. At the age of 8, I was on the 3rd floor of the porch, and I was like just fooling around, and you know what, I just don't want to do this anymore. And so I just jumped off the 3rd floor balcony. And luckily, I did not get hurt. Every time I wanted to kill myself, it never happened because I had no destiny. In the 3rd grade, the junior achievement guy just came from nowhere magically, like an angel. I remember him saying, "You were born to change the world." The junior achievement rep encouraged me to take on the newspaper route. By the 9th grade, I recall having about $7,000 saved up in the bank. Surprisingly, when I was in the 11th grade, I ran into him on the train, and I said, "I remember you from somewhere." He said, "Yeah, I remember you too." And I said, "Oh, are you the junior achievement guy?" He said, "Yes." And he said, "So what are you going to do when you grow up?" I remember I said, "I like numbers, and I want to get into business." He said, "Oh, I got a perfect school for you." And he introduced me to this wonderful exclusive school. So at this school, there was a competition for an award called Mr. Business. And luckily, I won. I received a full scholarship at DePaul. Hello, everyone. Hello. Hi, I'm Malachi Carnum with Commerce Bank. I'm here to teach your class today. If I ever run into this junior achievement mentor again, the first thing I would do is just go up to him, say, "If it had not been for you, I would not be here." Yeah, I don't even remember his name. I'm accepting the challenge to give back to the community, to go into the classroom and just help the kids. Because if they don't get help from us, who else is they going to lean on?
Okay, and we're back. I had to look at Adrian in the booth. Whoop. Okay. Yes, and we are back. Okay. And I just want to say, I have volunteered with Junior Achievement. Now, my limitations are 1st grade. I teach 1st grade. I have taught 4th grade once, and that little thingy that you make that they do that with, I didn't do too well with that, so I've gone back to 1st grade. But anyway, Jennifer wants to talk to us a minute about volunteers because we can't do what we do with Junior Achievement without our volunteers.
Yes. So last year, we taught 199 classes, impacting 4,446 students. So to do all this, of course, me and Melissa cannot do it by ourselves.
No. Y'all do a good job, but to teach that many students by yourself, no, you can't do it.
So we utilized 166 volunteers last year. So as you can tell, we had a lot of volunteers that did multiple classes. But our volunteers really drive home our mission. We can't do it without them. They go into the classrooms and they tie in what's really happening in the real world to what we're trying to teach them and what we're trying to teach them in school too. So we reinforce what the teachers are teaching them. So for example, one of the lessons in 8th grade is about insurance. And we talk about why it's important to have health insurance. Well, when I was a volunteer, I would go in and talk to them about my older brother. And I would say, okay, let's talk about insurance. The average cost for a baby nowadays is about $10,000 just to have it. And they say, okay. And I said, well, my brother had triplets. And of course, their eyes get big and they say, oh my goodness, $30,000 to have babies? Yeah. I said, but wait a minute. Now, triplets are usually born early. And my nieces were born early, and they had to spend some time in the ICU. So can anybody guess what that bill costs? So they start, 250,000, 300, up. So once they get to $1 million, I say, okay, you're correct. Now, so $1 million, and they're freaking out, $1 million. And then I say, wait a minute, he had 3. Miss Jennifer, are you telling me it was $3 million? That is what the hospital billed for my little nieces. But because he had insurance, he paid his $1,500 copay deductible and went on his way. So we bridge those life lessons. So
Yes.
teaching them how the real world applies. We also have employers that come in and say, this is what I'm looking for. So especially at the high school level, they go in and say, if you want to work at Valker, this is what you're going to need to work at Valker. If you want to work at Olin, this is what you're going to need to work at Olin. If you're going to go to Cleveland State or Lee University, this is what you're going to need to do to get into these colleges. And so they really tie everything in, and we can't do it without our volunteers.
Absolutely. And we have young volunteers, we have older volunteers, we have people my age volunteering, we have men, we have women. Just if you think, and don't for a minute think, now, everybody knows I taught school for, several years, 19, I think to be exact, but just because I had taught, I've been out of the classroom for 30 years. And so the first time I went in to teach, it was not easy. It came, a little bit of it came back to me, especially when I went down to first grade, because I taught first and second grade when I was teaching. But that does make it easier. But they're so accepting of you, the students are. Mm-hmm. They're so willing for somebody new and fresh and not that same teacher every day to come and see them. Some of the classes you can teach an hour a day for a week and get your 5 sessions in, or you can teach it over 5 weeks, or it can be spread out, whatever the teacher wants and whatever the volunteer wants to do.
Yes. Yeah, we're very fortunate in our area. So our office covers 5 counties. Mm-hmm. So I've got Bradley County, Monroe County, McMinn, Meigs, and Polk County. And all of our teachers, they want us there. So we'll come in and we'll say, okay, do you want to do spring? Do you want to do fall? And they'll tell us. And then they'll tell us what day works best for them. And then we go out and we match the volunteer with whatever the teacher's request is. So like you said, sometimes you do it 1 hour for 5 days. Sometimes you do it 1 hour, 1 day a week. And then we have JA in a day events.
I love those.
Yes. You go in and you teach the whole 5 or 6 week session in 1 day. So it's one and done. We give you all the material that you need. So everything you need to teach that class, JA of the Ocoee provides to you. We also provide you with training. So we tell you what to expect when you go into the classroom. We have a workbook that walks you line for line what you need to do when you get there. Mm-hmm. And then once you've taught one class, Nancy, you always laugh and say you only teach first grade, but you could teach any of them because all of them are set up exactly the same. It's kind of the same format. But if you're scared to be in the classroom, we do have events that you can come out and volunteer for. So just like our 5K race, we need people putting up the signs. We need passing out waters. We need, passing out the awards and those kind of things. Our bowl-a-thon that we have every year, it's usually in March. We need volunteers for that day. And we also utilize volunteers inside the office. Mm-hmm. So to help us with filing, if someone has a marketing degree or advertising that they would like to come in and volunteer their time to do that, we will find a place for you. Mm-hmm. If you want to volunteer, we'll find something for you to do.
And our volunteers are they're vital. We could not do this without our volunteers.
Absolutely.
And we're trying to expand. We're strong in Bradley County, always have been strong in Bradley County. Secondary strength probably is in McMinn County. We're trying to get into into Meigs County and Monroe County and Polk County. Had a wonderful opportunity at Polk County High School. Margaret Schenck and Rick Platts taught that class, and those kids did the business program, and they raised a little over $2,000.
Yes.
So we're trying to get into these other counties, but we need volunteers in those other counties.
Absolutely.
Or volunteers from Bradley County that don't mind going to one of these other counties.
Yes.
And that's something we have to have. phone number for them to call if they want to volunteer.
Okay, it's 614-8777.
And then if you want to stop by, folks, it's on the campus of Cleveland State. It's in the parking lot across from the admin building, the library. It's a small building that used to be, what, maintenance?
It was security office years ago.
Right, and it's got a cute little awning on it that says JA. But you can stop by and talk to Jennifer or Melissa, either one, and find out what it entails to be a volunteer. And the quickest way I think the quickest way for somebody to feel comfortable is to do our reality check.
Yes.
Because that introduces you to the kids and that program.
Yes, and it's a one-day commitment, so you can mark one day off your calendar. When we go into the Athens area, we're done by lunch. The ones in Bradley County, they're bigger schools, so we're usually done by 2:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, because I got to catch the bus and get on out of
Yes.
there. And if you have a business, if you're a bank or a utilities or a daycare center or anything like that, we offer opportunities for you to sponsor that business in the reality check, and then you can send your employees there and we love having those people that
Yes.
know what they're talking about for daycare, that can say, it's $150 a month, but if you have 2 children, it's $125 a month each, and,
Yes.
and the realization for our students that come through is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yes, we offer that, sponsorships for all those booths. And then, like you said, it's a great opportunity for you to send your employees, especially for our banking partners. They need to give back to the communities, their CRA credits, and so we fulfill the CRA. So if they want to reinvest in their community, Junior Achievement is a way to do that. If they want to sponsor a booth, we'll put their name on there. We have over 1,300 students that go through that program, so a lot of exposure to your name.
And that is great. And also you can sponsor classes. And I've contacted some best business and education serving together, best partners of schools, and said for $250 you can sponsor a class at your school. And that's always helpful. It's helpful for us at JA, but it's also helpful for you as a best partner to become more ingrained in the school that you're a best partner with.
Yes. Yeah, our best partners are vital for these school systems. But let's not forget parents, grandparents,
Yes.
aunts, uncles. If you want to sponsor a class in your child's school, if you're a working mother and you want to volunteer in your child's class and sponsor, $250, we'll put you in your child's classroom or a grandchild's classroom, and we'll get the program started in their school for you.
Right, and we're looking for people in our surrounding counties. We don't want to say we don't need our volunteers in Bradley County, because we do, and we could use more, because Jennifer told you how many students we saw this past year. But we also need volunteers in Meigs and Polk and Monroe and McMinn. So give us that phone number again.
It's area code 423-614-8777.
And the hours that you all are in the office.
We are normally there from 8 until 4 every day,
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday.
So Jennifer and Melissa would love to have you come in and say, I have a question, I might be interested in volunteering. I don't know whether I want to volunteer or not, because I know it's overwhelming. And like I say, I taught for 19 years, and the first time I walked into a JA classroom to teach, I thought, oh my goodness, it's been too long since I've been in there. But it's fun.
It's fun.
And some of the things that you learn
Yes.
as the teacher are very interesting.
Yes.
Very interesting. And then the reality check, like I say, that's a great place to volunteer, because a lot of that is herding the kids around and getting them to and from and answering the questions when they come up and say, got to go to work, I need a car, what do I do about that?
Yes.
So, so we can always use the volunteers.
Absolutely. The more the merrier.
That's exactly right. The more the merrier. And usually at these reality checks, you're fed.
Yes. We feed you. We feed you lunch.
That's right. So see there, you don't even have to worry about lunch. So Jennifer, thank you so much. Is there any last minute thing you'd like to say about Junior Achievement of the Ocoee region?
Well, Nancy, I just thank you for letting us be on here today. Also, thank you for your support. We
you're welcome.
laugh and say you've been on the board since we started,
Yeah.
but really, she has been around a long time.
Yes.
And, just thank our community partners. Everybody here is so accepting of Junior Achievement. I think we've we've stood the test of time,
Yes.
and people know how valuable it is. But we couldn't do it with our community partners, without our volunteers, and without our sponsors. So
And
just thank you to all them.
53 years is a good track record.
53 years, yes.
Jennifer, thank you so much for being on with me
Thank
today. I
you.
appreciate it. Folks, don't go away. If Adrian says I have a little bit of time, we'll do some upcoming events. And if not, it's been a great day in Nancy's neighborhood. But watch our commercials and support our sponsors because they pay our bills. And hopefully I'll be right back.